Welcome to Regrind Factor. I am your host, Linda O, recording from Nairobi, Kenya, where purpose meets peace. Today, we're crossing borders from physical and mental as we talk about how culture, faith, and mindset shape the way we think, heal, and live well. Joining me from Ghana is Dr. Emmanuel Botchway. Did I say that right?
Excellent.
Emmanuel Botchway, a counseling psychologist, educator, and pastor who leads the Christian Life and Wellbeing Department of Ghana Christian International High School. And also, he's a pastor. And he pastors the Eagle Center for International Ministries. He spent years helping people understand how faith and psychology work together to strengthen mental wellness. So today, let's welcome Dr. Emmanuel Botchway.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I guess that's a summary of what you've said. Well, yes, so I am Dr. Emmanuel Botchway, a counseling psychologist, and I lead the Christian Life and Wellbeing Department of the Ghana Christian International High School. I'm one of the pastors of the Eagle Center for International Ministries in Ghana, and I've been practicing for decades now.
Decades.
Yeah, yes.
So we got a specialist in the house today, and we are crossing the borders.
Sure.
Now, we're looking at mental wellness from a global perspective and crossing the borders all the way to Ghana. So I have a question for you, if we can help the people. How do people in Ghana define mental wellness?
Well, I think that it comes in two perspectives, the cultural and the spiritual. Mm-hmm. The cultural in the sense that cultural beliefs of people determine how they understand and respond to mental health. And again, in terms of your spirituality, if you belong to a church, you also respond and understand mental health in that perspective.
So, that is so big. What he just said is that it depends on culture and spiritual. We have to remember globally, every place has a different culture, be it in the United States, Europe, Africa. And Africa has a whole lot of cultures. For those who think Africa is one country, it is not. How many? It's a huge place. Very huge place. And each different country in Africa as the continent actually has its own culture. So it's a big thing.
Yeah, it is.
So with that being said, you can find different culture in Ghana compared to Kenya.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, the cultures are not the same. Yeah.
This is what we really need to cover to understand mental health and mental wellness is across the globe.
Yeah.
So do you see attitudes toward mental health changing in Africa?
I would say yes, because we're considering Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa. Mm-hmm. They've made some strides.
Wow.
Yet the stigma is still a barrier to cross. Misconceptions create stigma, and stigma leads to delayed treatment. And so stigma is actually, causing delays in treatment. Yeah.
So can we talk a little bit about this stigma people are getting? And I know you can talk about some that actually cross the borders all the way into the different countries. Can you share with us some of the stigma people have?
Well, so it is interesting. In Ghana, because of our spiritual model or perspective of understanding and responding to mental illness, if someone is going to see a psychologist or a psychiatrist, they think and assume that you are mad.
Wow.
And so there's a very big, stigma in Ghana, and which also delays treatment. Yeah.
And that in one of our other podcasts, we talked about the difference between mental illness and mental health. So yes, sometimes you really have a mental health related, you are stressed out and you just really need to see a therapist, really to talk through things and help you maneuver. But we have the stigma that you are crazy.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We had this conversation with someone in the US talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
And so something about cultural also, besides the spiritual, sometimes we have beliefs that someone might have done something to you.
Yes, spiritual causality to the condition. Yeah.
So can you elaborate just a little bit how that is misconceived in Ghana?
Yes, the spiritual model is very, very strong in Ghana because we believe that everything that happens has a spiritual causality to it. So, I mean, simply put, if you have a headache or even if you slipped and fell, you would relate it or you would think that somebody somewhere is spiritually manipulating, or, I mean, how we usually say, someone is doing you.
Yes,
someone
doing you.
is doing you.
Yes.
And so we evaluate, we determine and define everything through the spiritual lenses.
And it's so interesting. When we look at that in the U.S., I know sometimes they'll say someone took a doll and was pinning you, the voodoo doll. Let me just break it down for those who don't understand. Someone was doing you. We're talking about witchcraft or someone did something to you. That's really what we're talking about. But I think there is a stronger connotation in the continent of Africa about that. And so people really are struggling, and then someone is assuming that there's something else that has happened to them.
Exactly.
Wow. And we've seen that as a stigma that has existed for many years.
For many years.
Wow. And right now we have people like you who are trying to break the barriers.
Sure.
Wow. You're doing an awesome job, and I'm so happy about that because sometimes you can be a real stable person and lifing on you.
Yeah.
You can get depression, and depression, if not treated well, can turn into something else.
Definitely.
So can you, from your perspective, if someone had depression, how would you, if they don't get it taken care of, what do you think would happen to them?
Well, one thing leads to the other. Prolonged depression could be suicidal, lead to suicide.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think that the World Health Organization, predicted that 1 in every 4 people will have mental health condition in their lifetime.
Wow.
And they also said that depression is the leading cause of disability. It doesn't end there. They said they mentioned that suicide claims over 700,000 lives every day.
700,000.
So you see the steps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
1 in every 4 person is likely to have mental health condition in their lifetime.
Wow.
And so it is no joke. It is not funny.
Wow. That is so big because if we're saying 1 in every 4 people, that is affecting maybe even us sitting here.
Exactly.
If there was more people, it could be affecting the same people at the same time.
Yeah.
So we have to take charge of our lives and consider going to seek help does not mean that you have a problem.
No. Going to seek help does not mean you are mad. Going to seek help is the right thing to do.
Wow. And so when you're seeking help, sometimes you're just talking through some things and you have a clinician, which is like you, to help get things straightened out.
Yes, we have various help supports.
Yes.
Because depression or mental health issues could have emotional, psychological, social, and spiritual dimensions. And so for the spiritual, you need to consult or see or speak to your pastor, imam, or whoever is your spiritual leader. Socially, you need to connect with family. You need to belong in a social, you need to be involved in some, social group. And then psychologically, yes, you must have to see your psychologist or certified counselor. And if it's biological, you must see your medical doctor.
Wow.
And so it's important that you exhaust all of these support systems. Yeah.
That is so amazing. So as we are sharing some of this information to help you step out and seek help. Yes. And when I say seek help, in one of our other podcasts, we talked about the dopamine, the oxytocin, we talked about serotonin and endorphin. These are regular chemicals in your body.
Yes.
If you don't, go ahead.
The neurotransmitters.
Yes.
Yes, they are very important because, for example, the serotonin regulates mood, sleep, and appetite.
Wow.
Dopamine regulates pleasure and motivation. And so if if they are disrupted, imbalances will affect your sleep patterns, your eating patterns, and your mood, definitely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So these are natural chemicals in our body. And I know we've talked about this before, but sometimes people find other ways to fulfill their dopamine by getting into habits.
Yeah, well, yes. Some tend to lean on that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's important if you're not feeling well, and also just check on that to make sure you're balanced well.
Yes.
Wow.
I do.
And so also I noticed, I think you said you're with the Christian, what's the school again?
Ghana Christian International High
Ghana
School.
Christian International High School.
Yes.
So can you talk about what you have seen when it comes to mental wellness with the students?
Okay. Well, I think that generally we as a school have been very intentional.
Wow.
The counseling and guidance unit is under my department. And so we intentionally teach resilience.
Oh.
We teach grit. We teach teamwork. These things ought to be taught in schools, and students must be aware of them, and they don't have to feel shy seeking help from a teacher, from any pastoral, support system in the school. And so we intentionally teach these things in the class. It's part of our curriculum, where the guidance and counseling personnel go to the classrooms to teach these things.
Wow. So
so that's how we are able to respond to mental health issues in our school.
So you're able to be proactive,
Yes,
not
we are,
reactive.
No, we are proactive.
Wow. And that's very good. Grit, resilience, and teamwork is core.
Yes. Yeah.
And so if you're teaching the students from before they're released to the society, they have an idea of what can happen to them, and they are really ready for the world out there, because life be lifing. I feel like saying that so many times. Life can life, and life be lifing.
That's true.
And if you don't know what to do and you don't understand yourself, that's when people get into other places.
That's correct.
This is amazing. And I hope as we are talking about this, that someone listening out there can pay attention to that.
Sure.
Wow. So,
and the benefits, what we are reaping out of these intentional, teaching of resilience and mental health is that the nature of our programs in the school need grit and consistency.
Wow.
And the results we are reaping is that it is putting the school on the global, how to call it, on the global
scale.
On the global scale. And we are winning awards nationally and internationally. And it is a school I recommend to all and sundry.
Wow, that is so great. So what small habits or programs make a real difference? That besides the great resilience and the teamwork, do you also have some habits that you teach them, the students, or even that you can say even for grown people, adults?
Yeah. So we have mentorship and leadership program for all the students. And the uniqueness of this program is that it is part of our reporting system. It goes on our report cards.
Wow.
Mentorship and leadership.
Mentorship and
we intentionally
leadership.
teach these character, because as it is normally said your giftings could take you to the top.
Yes.
But your character will sustain you.
Oh, very
And
true.
so we are raising leaders.
Look at that.
And we know that the problem of Africa is leadership.
That's true.
And so we are training these young minds how to understand leadership, not just understand, but to live it.
Wow.
And so we monitor every student in terms of the participation, activity, teamwork, independence, attendance, contributions in classroom, and we grade them at the end of the term. It goes onto your report card. So if you joke with mentorship and leadership, you are ruining your academics.
Wow. And you know what? Let me just clarify something. Leadership, you will need to know how to lead yourself first. So teaching the students from a high school level, you're teaching them leadership not because they're leading other people. They're learning the principles of being a leader, the core values of being a leader, and leading themselves so that when they get out, they can be leaders in the society.
Sure. And our students who leave our schools to other schools become the leaders in those schools. They become the head boys, the head girls. They take almost all the leadership positions because you see them and it's so natural.
That
you
is
don't have
so
to
amazing.
pretend. It's so natural. Yeah.
That is so amazing. This is so amazing. I'm really loving this conversation, but we're coming to the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, what would you like to give people for something to tell them about how they need to deal with their mental wellness, their mental mind, and their capacity, and what they need to really think about? A takeaway to help them.
Yes, thank you very much. What I would say is that mental health issues are real. And going by the definition of the World Health Organization, it is a mental state of well-being. It's a state of well-being where an individual realizes their potentials, are able to cope with daily stresses of life, are able to be productive, and are able to contribute to society. When you lack any of these things, you need to see that you are on the verge to having mental health issues. And so I would recommend that you talk to someone, speak to your brother, speak to your sister, speak to your parents about anything, issue that comes up. Don't be afraid to talk to a psychologist, a certified counselor. Don't be afraid to go to the hospital to check what is happening to you because we connect one to another. What the doctor sees and is beyond, he would recommend or refer you to a psychologist. If a psychologist treats you and it's beyond him, he will refer you to a spiritual person. And so we are connected in this work. Nobody is to be left out and nobody is to be afraid to seek help.
Wow, this is so good. That is so good. So, at Regrind Factor, our tagline is renew, refocus, and rise. And what that is all about is a mindset shift. And in order for you to be the best version of yourself, you really need to have peace within and not just peace outside, because you really can't call peace outside. You have to have peace within. So no matter where you live, peace begins in the mind and flows through the heart. And taking care of your mind and your mental wellness is so important. Thank you for reminding us that healing is global and mindset is universal.
That's right.
It's not about just one region. It is global.
It is.
So this is the Regrind Factor, Renew, Refocus, and Rise. I am Linda O. You can follow us on Regrind Factor on all social media platforms, or I am the Linda O. Have a good one.